Hello everybody. This is Case of Thursdays. We're here doing Arkham Horror, the card game, and we're making attempt number 2 to play Edge of the Earth, the first scenario, Ice and Death. Is it Ice and Death or Death and Ice? It's got to be Ice and. It's got to be Ice and Death. I'm assuming Ice and Death. Sure enough. Okay, and so we already played partially through this. The first time we played it, we had no sound. I'm checking my sound right now. You say something, Chris. Okay. All right, so we do have sound. So we're checking these things for you. And then the second night we tried to play tabletop or Steam or something. My internet connection, something was just going super wrong, so we couldn't get connected. So here we are. We're doing Ice and Death. This is part 1 of Ice and Death, the 3-part scenario, with a lot of reading. So I've actually I'm going to pull it up on my screen here, but I'm also going to just read it from my browser because this particular. Nope, here comes Mom.
Oh, hold on, you gotta get our little mom in. We gotta get Mom in.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mom.
See you later. Elmo.
In a long distance.
Oh, God.
There you go, yeah. I beat her up with my headphones.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mom. All right.
There you go, everybody. That's Mom.
All right, so we are doing our prelude. I gotta make sure that I'm reading it from my browser so I can actually see it, but I want people to be able to see this. So put it out there on the stream. Okay. Oh, I guess I have to have my cursor on it. All right. Well, you don't need to see it. You can just have me read it to you. Here we go. All right. We got a lot to read here. So here we go. I'm forced into speech because men of science have refused to follow my advice without knowing why. It is altogether against my will that I tell my reason for opposing this contemplated invasion of the Antarctic. With its vast fossil hunt and its wholesale boring and melting of the ancient ice cap, and I am more reluctant because my warning may be in vain. Doubt of the real facts, as I must reveal them, is inevitable. Yet I suppose what will seem extravagant and incredible, there would be nothing left. That's Lovecraft, The Mountains of Madness. Okay. You understand now, yes, why this expedition must be stopped? Professor William Dreyer sits across from you at his office desk. A wealth of academic papers and scientific journals lie sprawled between you, including Dreyer's own lengthy account of his journey into the Antarctic. Up until the publication of this revised report, the alleged truth, the university's last expedition to Antarctica yielded very little in the way of scientific discoveries. At Dreyer's request, you read through the new report of what really happened beyond those mountains of madness, as he had dubbed them. You scarcely would have believed any of it were it not for the bevy of photographs and drawings that came along with it. Evidence of mangled, dissected bodies, of perplexing five-pointed snow graves, a strange specimen found half buried in the ice, and finally the aerial shots of the jagged black peaks described in Dreyer's tale. Dreyer has called on you to help convince his colleagues to abandon their planned follow-up expedition. His student Danforth, the only other member of the expedition to reach the alien stone city described in Dreyer's report, paces back and forth in the entrance of Dreyer's office, muttering nonsensically to himself while you consider their strange tale. You're still unsure what to make of this. On the one hand, Dreyer's concern seems genuine, and his account filled with such detail and specificity that you find it difficult to doubt its authenticity. And yet, there is no way it could be true. An ancient city in the ice built by primordial beings, so-called the Elder Things? How could such things be real? Danforth mumbles something about the nameless black pit as you place Dreyer's report back on his desk. The professor gazes at you with sleepless, bloodshot eyes. Well, Dreyer asks, will you help us stop the madness? Will you make them see reason? The lead investigator must decide, and we chose to do I believe you, but if what you say is true, should we not investigate these findings further? That's number 2. That's the one we went with. Dreyer lets out an anxious breath and relents. I suppose I might have said the same thing once, but now, after what I've seen, a shudder courses through the man's aged body. You are venturing somewhere humanity does not belong. I'm starting to believe the scholars, as much as ourselves, can only commit to probe the depths of science for so long before we are laid low by what we find. Or by what finds us, Danforth chimes in from behind. Dreyer glances at his student, studying his expression, then turns his attention back to you. If you go on this journey with Dr. Kinsler, the lot of you may not ever return. Will you not reconsider? You explain that while there is surely significant danger in your expedition, Dr. Amy Kinsler, the scientist leading the new trek to Antarctica, has taken precautions to ensure it does not meet the same end as Dreyer's. More importantly, it is the only way to understand the threats they encountered, and the only way to prepare if such threats are unearthed by other, less cautious scientists. Yes, I confess, I had the same worry, he replies. We are unlikely to convince the greater scientific community, I'm afraid. Perhaps it would be better to return and learn about what we saw. Danforth nods. I agree. How do we know what we saw was anything more than overactive imaginings of 2 explorers with queer fascination for the bizarre and macabre, of author Gordon Prim's ill-fated journey? Dreyer's eyes narrowed at his student. Knowledge reflected in his dark eyes chills you to the core. You say such things, and yet, I dare say, you did not see what I saw. The student scoffs. You are not the one who glimpsed the mirage at the edge of the mountainside. I'm not referring to the mirage, Danforth. I am referring to what I saw in you. Dreyer retorts. The things you said on that airplane, the look in your face, I'll never forget it. Look on your face, I'll never forget it. Silence pervades the room as Danforth returns to his corner and languish in his own doubt. Dreyer pleads with you, whatever the case may be. Is there nothing I can say to deter you? You ponder a brief moment and then shake your head. There is too much at stake, especially if Dreyer's account turns out to be the truth. All right then, Dreyer concludes with a sigh. Since you lot have no clue what you are getting into, I suppose I have no choice but to come too. You can tell Dr. Kinsler that she wins. We will be ready to leave within the week. You shake his hand and make for the door. I hope for all of our sakes that Danforth is right, he adds before you are out of earshot. In your campaign log card, the investigators convinced Dreyer to allow the expedition. And we already did all of that. So we are going to conclude to prologue 4. You peer up at the overcast sky, hoping it is not forbode things to come. Only a sliver of sunlight peeks through the clouds. You shudder and pull your coat closer to your shoulders, then continue onward to the edge of the Boston Harbor dock. Gather each of the cards. So we already gathered the expedition team. I have them up at the top up here. Show everybody these ones. These are the expedition team. The expedition. Okay. Standing in front of the pathway leading up to the deck is Theodosia. Of the Theodosia is Dr. Amy Kinsler, professor of biology at Miskatonic University. A no-nonsense scientist, has been the fixture of the university's science department for over a decade. Without so much as peering up from her clipboard, she crosses your name off as you approach. Good of you to make it on time. Mr. Ellsworth here will take your luggage aboard. Oh, I will I? The man standing next to her replies with a chuckle. He offers you his hand in introduction, and you shake it. Roland Ellsworth, at your service. By the way of introduction, Dr. Kinsler explains, Mr. Ellsworth has been on over a dozen expeditions and comes highly recommended. I'm sure his expertise will be invaluable in the weeks to come. Ellsworth rolls his eyes. His expertise, yes, and his willingness to be used as manual labor, he adds with a chuckle as he hefts your luggage and takes it up the plankway. Come on, Ellsworth, shouts another voice from aside the ship. A gruff-looking man with a thick brown beard emerges from motioning for Ellsworth to hurry. We got a ton of work to get done before we embark. A little busy, Cookie, Ellsworth shouts back in reply, and then he turns back to you and remarks over his shoulder, Don't mind him, Cookie's a bit of a intense fellow, but he's all right. Name's Fredericks, a gruff man barks back. James Fredericks. I swear sometimes I think I'm the only one here who's ready for the damn trip, he mutters angrily. And didn't anyone ever tell you it's bad luck to name a ship after someone who died at sea? Another voice calls down from the deck of the ship. Cookie, if you could be so kind as to lower your voice, some of us are trying to work up here. The man responds with a grunt and ducks back inside the ship, rolling his eyes. You crane your head upwards to see a young woman leaning over the railing at the ship's deck, her long brown hair tied in a thick ponytail that dangles around her neck. Hey, you made it, she calls out to you. Dr. Kinsler was pretty excited that you were coming along. Looking forward to working with you. Without looking up from her clipboard, Dr. Kinsler mumbles, Miss Takada Hiroku is our airplane mechanic. As with previous expedition, we'll be constructing the planes on site. No need to worry. She may be one of the youngest in her field, but she knows what she's doing. More of the crew arrive, one by one. First, a man in his 30s with a wispy blonde beard and bright green eyes. Mr. Avery Claypool. Dr. Kinsler introduces you to the man and the two of you shake hands. Mr. Claypool is an associate of Mr. Ellsworth. He will be serving as our guide in the Antarctic. Weather permitting, Claypool jokes. Honestly, we'll be lucky if we can ever get off the ice shelf. I'm confident with your skills we will make it as far as Dryer and Lake did. That's what I'm afraid of, Claypool mutters, walking briskly past Kinsler and up the plankway. On his way up, he passes Ellsworth and the two freeze, locking eyes. You could swear the temperature lowers several degrees as the two brush by one another without a single word. They are usually on better terms, Dr. Kinsler says under her breath, but recently fell into some issue or another. They had better learn to live with their differences. They will be unable to avoid each other for quite some time, after all. You watch as Claypool's gaze wanders back to Ellsworth for just a fraction of a second before he turns away angrily and enters the ship. The next who arrives, a woman with warm brown skin and weary eyes. Along with her luggage, she carries a rather large, bright red medical kit, emblazoned with a white cross. She extends her hand, and you cannot help but notice the nervous tremble in Dr. Kinsler's hand as she shakes it. Thank you for joining us on the voyage, Mala. Oh, Amy, somebody has to keep you alive, she replies. There is a moment of awkward silence as Dr. Kinsler glances up at the woman, then down at her feet and cheeks tinged red. Right, well then, she remarks, and continues up the walkway. Dr. Kinsler clears her throat once she's out of earshot. Dr. Mala Sinha is our physician, she explains. It took some convincing to get her to join us, so try not to abuse her expertise with inconsequential problems. Frostbite will be a very real concern, as will gangrene and hypothermia. Try to stay on her good side. You're unsure if Dr. Kinsler is joking. The man's voice pierces the sudden silence along the clamor of the dog barking. Anu, damn it, Anu! Don't run off like that, he shouts. That will be Mr. Ashavak, Dr. Kensler says, scratching off another name from her list. Moments later, you watch as a large, gray-furred dog bounds toward you, its tongue hanging out of its mouth in excitement. You lean over to pet the dog, running your hand along its thick fur. The man finally catches up to the dog, huffing with effort. Anu, come on. I thought I trained you better than this, he says, catching his breath. Alaya Ashavak is our dog handler, Dr. Kensler interjects. He is in charge of taking care of the 44 sled dogs we have bringing along with us, not to mention their feeding and training. Anu makes 45, he corrects her before turning to shake your hand. Also, we'll be holed up in this ship for a while, so let's drop the formalities. Just Alaya. Alaya is fine. As the man and his enormous dog board the ship, you ask Dr. Kensler if she received the letter you sent regarding Professor Dreyer's concerns. I'm well aware of his report, Dr. Kensler replies, but as I've told him time and time again, I have no intention of postponing this expedition. Just then, footsteps approach behind you, interrupting your conversation. Speak of the devil, Dr. Kensler mutters, looking up from her clipboard. You turn and find none other than Professor William Dreyer and his student Danforth, each toting several bags of luggage. I'm glad you finally decided to join us, William. Amy, he acknowledges. I'm not here because I believe your mission statement. I'm here to make sure that your companions don't get themselves killed. You have no idea what you're walking into. Then you will have ample enough opportunity to educate us along the way. She turns and addresses young Danforth, who is staring up the tanker ship with pained expression. Danforth, I hope you understand that you are under no obligation to come along in this expedition. After everything you went through, she trails off, her eyebrows raised in worry atypical of her usual cold demeanor. I appreciate your concerns, Dr. Kensler, but I'm looking forward to an opportunity to return to Antarctica. I need to be there again. You've got to watch out for his ass. She follows his gaze to the Theodosia, which bobs steadily up and down on the choppy Atlantic waters. Very well. We are all still working to get our equipment aboard. Mr. Ellsworth can help you find your rooms. You nod and begin boarding, along with the remaining crew and the rest of the expedition team. Mostly students of the university, along with several unaffiliated explorers and several researchers in a variety of fields. Once more you spy the scant sliver of sunlight above before it is smothered by the gray clouds. These 9 characters will be your partners throughout the campaign. Their various talents will be crucial. However, if you wish for this expedition to be successful, it is imperative that you keep them healthy and sane. In the expedition themes section of the campaign log, you can view the status of each member of the expedition team as they are injured or begin to question. Okay. As each team member is killed or driven insane, cross them off the list. You're ready to proceed to Scenario 1, Ice and Death. Whew. Okay.
Wow.
Still
It
going.
seemed to go a lot quicker than last time. I guess because you read it once already.
Yeah, well, it's also because I'm reading it off of.
Oh, you can actually see the words?
Yeah, I downloaded the PDF so I can read it, and it was real hard to read it off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fine to read like a card or a little bit of stuff, but like to read this much shit from that is a little much, yeah. It's been a long eight weeks since you left Boston, not without its toil. The Theodosia followed much the same route as the predecessors of Arkham and Miskatonic. The first sailing southward along the east coast through the Panama Canal before venturing toward the Antarctic Circle. As the weather grew steadily colder, icebergs became more and more problems the ship to navigate. But with the crew's expertise and the logs of the previous captain who made this same journey, you make good time. Sure enough, you spy the mist-covered peaks of Mount Erebus and Terror ahead. Marking the site of Ross Island, near the ice shelf that will serve as the expedition's landing spot. As you approach the coast, Dr. Kinsler and the rest of the team meet aboard the deck of the Theodosia to discuss the plans. We will use the same breach buoy system as before to unload the supplies onto the ice shelf, she explains. Mr. Fredericks, Mr. Ellsworth, Mr. Claypool, you'll be taking one of the smaller boats to the shelf to find us a landing zone. Miss Takada, once we have a camp up and running, those aeroplanes are your first priority. Mr. Ashenbach, I expect those sledges to help move supplies to the landing of the camp. As soon as we reach the ice shelf, there's going to be a lot of work to get done in a short time. I don't want you to have to wrangle 36 dogs on top of all that, so get them in order. Elia rolls his eyes and idly pets Anu, who sits diligently by his side. Yes, ma'am. Professor Dreyer speaks up. I suspect the lack of ice melting and boring equipment means that we aren't taking any mineral samples, he asked rhetorically. Dr. Kinsler shakes his head. No need. Although, if we happen to find suitable piece, we might as well claim it. That said, our mission is solely to corroborate the findings you made with Danforth and bring back more evidence of this ancient species, these elder things, as you dubbed them. A living specimen would be ideal, of course. Such strange and alien beasts trapped in the ice throughout the ages. It would be like discovering a live woolly mammoth, I imagine. He balks at that. A living specimen? You do know these things killed several of Lake's men, right? And how do you propose we capture one exactly? She blinks. You're the expert, William. You tell me. Dreyer walks off, shaking his head and muttering angrily. I knew this was a bad idea. All right, you all have your assignments. We will reach the land within an hour. Be ready, Dr. Kinsler says, dismissing the meeting before she can go below deck. You approach and remark that you aren't sure what you should be doing just yet. Oh, there will be enough manual labor to go around, she replies, with a hint of a smirk. So, Ice and Death Part 1. Okay. After 2 weeks and many hours of hard work, the expedition is ready to make the first foray into the ice, dread continent of Antarctica. Miss Takada, along with 2 other mechanics, have fully assembled 3 airplanes along the flat ice shelf. A perfect place for takeoffs and landings. Your team congregates by the airplanes along with several days' worth of camping equipment. The plan is to fly 2 planes over the vast jagged peaks, taking aerial photographs of the stone city mentioned in Dreyer's account. That is, if such a thing really exists. If we can find a safe landing zone, we will set up a temporary outpost, Dr. Kinsler explains. Dreyer, Danforth, Fredericks, and Claypool will stick around while the rest of us head back to base camp. We can use the sledges to ferry supplies to and from the camps. Otherwise, we'll simply scout out the area and head back to base camp. The team nods in agreement and begins boarding the planes. If Winifred's here, she's not. We should have picked Winifred. That'd have been cool. Alright, so intro 3 then. Go to 3. Buckle up, your pilot says as you climb into your seat and get ready for the flight. One at a time, the 2 planes take off the ice shelf, soaring in the opaque fog. The rough Antarctic winds and low visibility make for poor flying conditions, but nonetheless you venture through the beautiful and deceptive polar mirages, over miles of icy wastes and barren snowdrifts. Dr. Kinsler peers out the window as you pass a magnificent view of the distant mountains, like vibrant, enchanted castles floating above the clouds. They're beautiful, she remarks. These are nothing, Dreyer begins. Wait until you see. And then a storm hits. The winter winds are so sudden and fierce that they almost force you out of your seat. Both planes shunt and to and fro in the horrid winds, and you hear several of the passengers shouting behind you. What in the hell? Fredericks grunts. We have to head back, Claypool shouts. These winds will force us down if we keep going. We're so close, Dr. Kinsler growls bitterly. We don't have a choice, he yells back. It's too late. The plane lurches forward to the ground, or toward the ground. The plane struggles in vain to regain control. All of the other passengers notice a dark shape in the sky at the same time as you. It is a massive shadow, like a curtain drawn across the mountains, or perhaps the tattered wings of an antediluvian behemoth. It scowls at you with dreadful hollow eyes. Then it reaches out and proceed to intro 4. As you regain consciousness, intense pain sears through your blistering skin. Through the haze, you can barely hear a muffling shout outside, a burning husk of the airplane. Somebody grips your arm and pulls you from the wreckage and hurls you onto the snow shelf. More shouts erupt all around you. Here's another! Quickly! Grab a hand! You raise to your feet with a world of effort. Miraculously, you are only bruised and winded. Most of the other team members are similarly unharmed. Except, gather the 9 story cards of the expedition team counter set, shuffle them, and choose one at random. This person is killed. Okay, then we proceed to setup. So then we'll read their thing and proceed to setup. So, what I'm going to do, hopefully we don't lose the same guy we lost last time. Okay. Why won't it flip? Oh. God damn it. Oh, I had my hands at the wrong. Dryer.
Dryer.
Or Dyer, whatever how you say his name.
No.
Holy shit. Okay.
Dyer.
That ain't good.
Well, that means Danforth's gonna go and check because we don't know nothing about Danforth. Dyer is the only one who.
Yeah, Danforth seems sketchy. He's got like some love for this shit he saw.
Yeah.
He's gonna turn on us at some point.
He's gonna fall. He's under the thrall.
You're under the thrall of the Dark Lord. Alright. Let's see. So we have to go find what's his name? Okay. If Professor Dryan was killed, please end the plane crash. Danforth drops to his knees as he examines the elderly man's mangled body. I should have, he begins, but his words aren't there. Dr. Kinsler places a hand on his shoulder. This is my fault, not yours, she offers. I shouldn't have dismissed his concerns. That shape in the sky, it wasn't natural. But the horrid look in Danforth's eyes doesn't fade. Come on, kid, Fredericks motions to Danforth. I know it hurts, but we gotta get moving. Gonna be night sooner than we think. Then we're all hosed. Hosed? Danforth nods slowly, but you have to physically pull him away from Dryer, his mentor, before his eyes snap away from Dryer's. Well, shit buckets. Alright.
Alright, so we lost Dryer.
So, setup.
Don't use the washer.
Okay, put the locations away. Set the uncharted location side out of play. Got that. Set the skidding nonsense out of play. Got that. Oh, wait. Did we? I think we added. Did we add skittering nonsense? I gotta make sure that that's not in there. Yeah, let's see. I just want to make sure. Yeah, the skittering nonsense is not something we do.
My same guy.
Skittering nonsense. Set the terror of the stars. I think. I don't know if these are terror of the stars. Wait, I gotta see. See, that's the thing. Like, we put some cards in here, I think, and I don't know. I don't know which one of these symbols. Okay. Difficulty level. Okay, we already did that. Shuffle technically weaknesses, cards together. Okay. Shuffle the remaining again. Okay, we did that. So we did everything. We just got to make sure we know what these cards are. I'm assuming that these are the monsters. You know?
Yeah, because I think for a while there we didn't have any monsters in there, and then after we did
Okay, so these, let me see. Yeah, let me see something here. So this, what is the symbol?
Same, like, symbol.
Let's see, they've got that like, what is that symbol? It's like a mountain. Let's see if any of these other ones have a mountain symbol. It's fucking, this bullshit's in the way. Here. Oh, this does. 0 visibility. So maybe ancient evils and that kind of stuff. Fucking.
You might have to just like flip the agenda deck and see what it said to add.
Well, it names it by name, and that's the thing, is that you have that already split aside for you. So these are all the mountain ones. I don't think that those monsters come out. I think the skittering. Let's see if these skittering madness ones. Oh no, those are okay. Skittering nonsense. So I'm really not sure. I'm assuming it's the monsters, but because that would make sense. Like we're just dealing with like.
Does it in the setup say what set aside cards?
Yeah, it says set the terror of the stars enemy. Oh wait, that's not different. Set the skittering aside, nonsense enemy aside. Okay, terror of the stars, which is not that. Not that. Let's see. Set the creatures in the ice encounter set. So this gotta be, but creatures in the ice. Oh wait, let me see something. Death and the crash. Creatures in the ice have this symbol. Oh, these might still be in here. Search. Oh, there's Terror of the Stars. Creatures in the ice. They all have the same fucking symbol, bro. Wait, this is weird. I mean, creatures in the ice, deadly winter, hazards of Antarctica, sounds of mystery, Tekalili, ancient evils, mysteries, hazards of Antarctica, deadly weather. Ice and death, the crash. These symbols don't look anything like the cards we have. Honestly. Like, that's just weird because, like, none of these, like, all of these have the little mountain. Wait. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's yes. We were right. All these creatures. I was looking at the wrong symbol. I was looking at the symbol for the campaign, not the symbol for the. Yeah, okay. Alright. Put these over here. Put these over here. And then I think. Let's see. Make sure we got no other. That's good, 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 good. Oh, there's another skittering nonsense.
Nonsense. I love that.
Yeah.
Fucking nonsense, bro.
This shit is nonsense.
Enough of that nonsense.
I've had quite enough of your nonsense, skitterer. There's another one of these motherfuckers. Okay. Ancient assholes. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there, folks. There's another one of these. Okay. All right. I believe that does it. Okay. So we can shuffle this. This shit is all. These are the monsters. And this is the skittering nonsenses. This shit gets put in later. Okay. Okay, now we have it. So, and then the investigator setup is we get to pick whichever ones of these we want. You got yours? Okay.
Grab Vitor and Snow Dog.
Vitor. So you got, what is this guy? Where do you have him? Oh, here.
Oh, I put him down on my thing.
All right. So you got the evade. All right.
Yeah. The evade. And I think when we did our initial start, it seemed like that was a good choice. See, now we got the one. Remember, there was the one guy.
Yes, this is the one.
Lead the way.
Yeah, this guy takes.
Right, he died last time.
Yeah, he takes treacheries off your location, which is what fucking keeps fucking everything up in this campaign. Okay.
Find the path.
So I took his ass. Okay.
Get rolled.
So this is cool. All right, let's shuffle and get our own cards. I forgot to do that. Boop. Okay, this is not something I take. Spectral Razor, that is a full mully. That's a 100% mully. Boom. Okay, that's exactly. Nice. Feels pretty good.
Roll this over. Revelation keeps coming out the wrong color.
Okie dokie, smoky. All right. Everybody's here. Okay. And now I'm going to read really quickly the things up here. This isn't exactly how you imagined your first foray into the Antarctic wilds. The stinging cold and lashing frozen winds will only get worse over time. After a location is entered by an investigator for the first time, put each set-aside location connected to that location. I'll use campaign guide for reference. Yep, we know that. You're going to have to find a way back to the camp, and soon. You'll have to make do camping in the wilds, or you'll have to make do camping in the wilds. If each investigator is at the same location and that location has no clues on it, resign. You set up camp, each investigator resigns. Objective, find somewhere safe to set up camp. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. The higher the shelter value of the location they resigned at, the better. So we know that going down to that one location was a pretty good idea, because that was like a high shelter, but we're supposed to not know any of that right now. Okay, we can actually play the game. Here we go, and we'll flip it. So, let's read it. It was risky business sailing over the Antarctic in a single airplane without any line or bases. Mountains of Madness. There's that plane going down. That looks fucking sketchy. I want to know what that thing that attacked us, whatever the hell was that? All right, test. So we can test burrito or, well, intellect or agility by 3 to scavenge from the wreckage. If succeed in the supplies recovered section of the campaign log, record spare parts. So I think we need to get our spare parts. So that was our thing from last time, was we got our spare parts and then we moved on. But in round robin fashion, I guess I'll go first. First things first. She's like, okay, the first thing I'm gonna need to do, 1, 2, 3, is get out my fucking weapon. She's like, I got a pole. I'm gonna fuck shit up. And then 1, 2, and then she brings out her holy rosary. And then oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so that's all of her stuff, and then she doesn't really have. I guess she's got some agility, but only 3. She doesn't really have anything that she can do, so she's just gonna take a resource. All right, it's your turn.
Oh, perfect.
Beep, beep. I'm gonna get another beer. It's gonna be an interesting night. I'm already down one. I already downed one beer.
Alright, so scavenging for supplies puts me at 5, 6. 6 over 1 3. 6 over 3. 6 over 3.
Oh, what is that?
-2.
Okay.
Fail, shuffle the top card of the town.
Takalili.
Alright, so -2, so that does it.
That'll work.
So ice, now do we have to put that in the log that we scavenge supplies?
Okay, that actually.
Oh,
Actually, it's funny because this Roland Ellsworth. Okay, so Roland Ellsworth didn't die. I can.
oh
say.
no, we gotta put it in the supplies recovery.
No, I know.
Spare parts. Oh, you already got it. Oh yeah, you get it.
Convince Dyer, let the expert trade, and then I think in 2. Oh,
Yeah, then on the flip side,
yeah. Spare parts. Boom, we already got it. And then
got her parts.
this is not here. But, excuse me. I'm just gonna write dead. There you go.
Oh, you can just put anything in. Oh, okay, yeah.
Why do you have 2? Oh, you took. Never mind. You took.
Oh, I took 2 health or 2 sanity instead of 1 of each.
Yeah, I gave you. Yeah,
I know.
I just screwed up. I didn't realize.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
John remembered.
Okie dokie. Then there was our first. Oh, you still have 1 action to go.
And then I forgot, yeah, all of the now, knowing what we've done, we should try going that. Actually.
Oh shit! You got this. You got the sounding research in your mulligan.
Yeah, that great.
I'm wondering. I wonder if like, do you get that on a?
Well, because that's a draw. You're not searching
Yeah,
the card.
yeah. You're not searching.
Yeah, you just draw it.
That makes sense,
That's
I
the
guess.
bummer of it. You draw it, you're just like, oh, fuck.
That's the rub.
Yeah, you get pissed. All right. Actually, I'm going to take resources and look at this. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty. All right. So then, oh, that was us. We have enemies. There are none. We have upkeep. Okay. All right, and then we have mythos. So we're at 1 mythos. And take your card. Ugh, what did I get? 0 visibility. Put 0 visibility into play in your threat area as an additional cost for you to leave a location with a treachery attached to it. You must spend 1 action. At the end of your turn, I can test to get rid of it. Okay. Not.
Now, that's only if there's a treachery attached to it, right?
Yeah, if there's not, I'm okay.
That's just for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was actually all right. Which is funny because mine are just you're the only one who can't see. Those are just 0 visibility.
I'm just like, where are my glasses? I dropped my glasses in the snow.
Oh shit! I got it.
Location shelter value. Shelter value is 0 here. If you fail, you must decide. Okay. So.
Okay, you read it faster than I did. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's willpower. You got to beat a 0, so you're gonna beat it unless you get a tentacle. Yep. All right. Easy. Easy peasy. Okay, it's our turn.
All right, I'm gonna let you go and grab. Now I'm gonna grab beer.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna put this, so after another investigator moves from your location to. This is awesome because it's an asset. I like this. I think I read this card wrong previously, and like. I'm gonna put this here. I thought you had to sort of spend it each time, and not that it was an asset that just sat with you. But this card is super rad in this case. All right, so how did we do this? We wanted to. I don't know. Do we want to take the treacherous path? The precarious ice sheet. Remember, those are like, those I think were like 2 clues apiece. And then this one was like 2. But we needed, let's see. Do these have? I don't know how we should go on this. Because I think.
Oh my god.
Should we go in the same direction we went last time? Like down first?
That like damn for. Let's see. Wait, because we needed. Remember, we needed like 8 clues.
Yeah, there were
other ones.
Yeah, there were 2 on the side that looked like they were going to be like the best places, and those ones needed 8. I know these are like 2s. This is a 2. I mean, we could just start grabbing 2, 4, 6, and then go down.
Since we kind of like we might want to grab these 2 up here and then head down.
Okay. All right, so I'm going treacherous path. Okay, it's not going to give me my. So.
Read it. Read it.
Oh, I know. I know. These ones are kind of. Let's see. In order to recover the Archean slate vein in which he had found the odd markings, he would have to make a long sledge trip from these foothills to the steep slopes of the gigantic mountains themselves. Man forced. If you revealed one or more frost tokens during a skill test at the treacherous path, take 1 damage or horror for each frost token unveiled. This is a 1 shelter. Alright, so what do I got? I got a 2. This is a 2. I can't really do that. Can't do much in the way of anything at the moment. So I'll just I'll take a resource, I guess.
Remember, you gotta test your visibility.
Oh yeah, okay, so end of my thing. I got what, a 3 against 2. Oh, did not get it.
Alright, 2 photos. I'm gonna do this. Take a resource, then I'm gonna put out my
St. Hubert-ski. St. Hubert.
yeah, but and then oh wait a minute.
You bet.
You know what? No.
Why'd you go?
You know what? I'm
Go
not
s-
gonna do that.
What? Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Because I forgot I got moved too. I thought I was gonna be able to do the clues. That was a part that I moved to. Let's get a clue up there. Get a clue. What do I got? So I got a 5, 6 over 2. 6 over 2. Since I got 2 actions, I don't want to use my reduction just yet. I think I'm just going to take 2 actions. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I am going to use reduction. Nah, this is how I was going to do it. This I should have done this before. So I got, what do I got? So I moved. This is going to be my 2, this is 6, 7. 7 over 2.
Nice. Gets it.
So now I get both these clues.
Yay.
Take it action on both elevators. Let's get those ladies out of there. And then, because I've got my man, now I will put out my boots.
You bet.
There we go. That's the way you do it.
Nice.
That's a healthy touch.
Alrighty. Okay, so enemies, there's none. Upkeep. Oh, fuck. It's alright. Got my hypochondria.
You quit washing your bloody hands.
At least I can get rid of it fast. It's good when those types of cards come out early because they're easy to just get rid of.
Yeah. Oh, good. I got my book. Finally. I didn't
Nice.
get any of my books last time. I was like, shit. It's my whole raison d'etre.
Alright. Okay, it's 2. And cards. Oh, ancient buttholes.
Oh, same crap I had last.
Ancient evils. This is like the same thing that happened to us last time, where we were like, oh, we're not too far. And then ancient evils came out, added a doom. This is the same bullshit.
5 over 1. Could use guts.
Guts. Oh. Nice.
I get to do top card here.
Nice.
No,
What is his special? What does he do?
He gets to see the top card of his deck, and if he wants, he can play the top card of his deck as a stand at a -1 to its cost.
Oh. Oh, couldn't you do that with this card?
Yeah, that's why I'm not. Cause I could right now put that into my hand, but I'm like, no. That goes on my turn. I'm going to put that out for 1 instead of 2.
Oh, I get it. Okay. He is a bit of a